So now we're going to talk a bit on precedence, because some propositions are just not so clear. Take this for example, not P and Q. What does this mean? Does this mean the negation of P and Q? Or does this mean the negation of the conjunction of P and Q? Well, these two things aren't the same, and we can see that through a truth table. Let's go through it. Here we have the truth table for the proposition P and the proposition Q. Ignoring Q for now, here we have the truth assignments of the proposition not P, and by forming a conjunction of the proposition not P and the proposition Q, and then we have the truth assignments of the conjunction of not P and Q. Looking at the propositions of P and Q, we can then look at the proposition P and Q and get the truth assignments for that. We can find the negation of that proposition to find the negation of the conjunction P and Q, and we can compare these two to see that they are not the same. There are instances where one of them is true and the other one is false. Let's go through a more complicated example. What does it mean by P or Q and R? Does it mean the conjunction of P or Q and R? Or does it mean the disjunction of P or Q and R? It's not so clear, and again, we can show that these two are very different by going through a truth table. Here we have the truth table of the propositions P, Q and R. We can compare the proposition P and the proposition Q to make the disjunction of P or Q. We can then combine that with the proposition of R to determine when the conjunction is true of P or Q and R. So now look at our second example. We need to find the conjunction of Q and R, which we can do here and find those truth assignments, and we can compare that conjunction with the proposition P to find when the disjunction of P and the conjunction Q and R is true or false. And we can compare these two and see again that they are completely different. And sometimes this can get even more complicated. What about P implies Q and R? What does this mean? What about not P implies Q and R? Or what about P and not Q implies R or S? Well, thanks to precedence, we can put an order to these operators. First you start with the negations, then the conjunctions, then the disjunctions, and then the conditionals and the biconditionals. So first example, not P and Q. Well, the negation takes the highest precedence, so we put brackets around the not P, and there we have it. What about this example, P or Q and R? Well, the conjunction takes a higher precedence than the disjunction, so we put the brackets around the conjunction. Now back to this one. First of all we have the negation, so I'll put the brackets around that. Then we have the conjunction, and finally we have the disjunction, making this a whole lot more clear. What about P and Q and R and S? Well, considering it only uses one operator, it really makes no difference. You can put the brackets anywhere in this, and it wouldn't make a difference. The same applies to P or Q or R or S. Again, in this example, you can put the brackets anywhere and it won't make any difference. So what if we have P implies Q implies R implies S? Well, in this case, it does make a difference where you put the brackets. And what we do with this is we start from the right and work to the left. So we start at the right putting brackets around R implies S. We then put brackets around Q implies R implies S. And then that's the end of it.